Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Asia Rugby Live, Real Talk, Real Rugby, and this is the episode 3 of season 3, an exciting episode where we have our rugby brothers on board. And thank you for joining us. Selamat pagi, selamat tengah hari, selamat petang, selamat malam, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are and whatever you do. Thank you for joining us today as we talk about the Asia Rugby Championship, the men's championship. We starting with the Malaysian team. But before that, last weekend, in Egypt, there's been a sevens tournament, and that's been a successful one. And I would like to congratulate the organizers for organizing such a tournament during this pandemic times. And of course, like I said, I've been saying it so many times, we hope that cross-borders tournaments will be allowed soon, and this is something positive. This tournament has been something positive. Return to play, hashtag return to play. Don't forget that, guys, hashtag return to play, as we want to encourage people to return back to playing rugby. And of course, Super Rugby Australia and also Super Rugby Aotearoa are also coming back. And not forgetting Japan's very own top league, which one of the players that's going to be on tonight will be featuring. And of course, tonight we have three players who are very important to the Malaysian rugby team in the ARC tournament especially. So we have the first two, which is Krishnan, and we have Mark Lee, and also Lawrence Petrus is also on board today, the tight head prop for Malaysia. Guys, thank you very much for being with us tonight as we give some insights of what's happening with the Malaysian rugby team going into the ARC. So first of all, I want to ask Duke, or we know him as Dugro in Malaysia, or Duke in Japan. His real name is Krishnan. He's the captain of the Malaysian team. First of all, Duke, how have you been, and what's going on with you right now?
Hey bro, thank you for having me, and good to be back in Asia Rugby Live and sharing my thoughts. And at the moment, the pandemic is still going on in Japan, but I'm very excited. The league is starting. Japan Top League is starting next week. So you guys are preparing for the week, and even today I'm just busy preparing for the weekend. So kind of excited at the same time. Gonna see what is like a new changes gonna come in Top League, because this time it probably will be without the fans. So it will be the empty stadium and just versus opponent. So it will be a new experience. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, just like the tournament that like the Six Nations we have been watching on TV, and probably the premierships in England and in Europe especially. There's no fans, and also the EPL. There's no fans, but the tournament still goes on.
You can hear
and
the cheering sound.
Yeah. We can hear the cheering sounds. I think they have been recording it since then, so they are playing it just to keep the atmosphere going, just to make sure that people are still in it. And of course, you are in Tokyo, and the other two, Lawrence, as we know him, Law, and also Mark is in Sydney. You know what? I think you also do. We have been working out together is when you were in Malaysia before the lockdown again. And Mark, you have been busy yourself in Sydney.
Yeah, that's correct. I've been at a club and just doing a bit of pre-season training with the clubs here. The seasons don't really start for another 2 more months or so. But I'm also kind of transitioning into a player coach role, so doing backs coaching and also strength and conditioning with the players at the local club. Also starting a business, which I have in Malaysia. Really excited about that. It's an outdoor boot camp business, which Dubro and yourself were a part of when it first kicked off. So pretty exciting stuff there. And I can't wait to get back to Malaysia once COVID kind of settles down a bit.
That's great, man. And of course, Lawrence has just moved to Sydney from Western Australia, from Perth, changing clubs. And how has it been going for you, Law? Australia definitely last year was something new for you, and you have moved clubs. So what are you expecting?
Yeah, As people know, I was playing in Perth last season, and I'm moving club to Manly in Sydney. So I think it's was a good start for me for this year. We know this pandemic is not good for, I mean, all country. Even all the other player not even start playing. But in Australia, it's good start for us. Like we still can play the rugby, and I expect like hopefully there is no lockdown in Sydney and low cases, so we can still play for our season this year.
That's great to know that everyone, you guys are all good, and I'm sure the fans watching and tuning into Asia Rugby Live right now are happy to hear that you guys are good doing your stuff, keeping yourself busy, playing rugby to ensure that you guys are fit to when the time comes, you guys return back to Malaysia to play for Malaysia. And of course, for today, we're going to talk about the ARC, the Asia Rugby Championship, the men's championship, and we want to look back at 2014. The thing about you guys is one the most I would say the most experienced who has been in the squad the longest is Duke. Who has been playing since, if I'm not mistaken, 2009. The first time that he played was in Singapore. And looking back, Duke, 2014 was like the catalyst when the team went up from Qatar, the tournament in Qatar, when the team went up, just up and up and up until what it is now. Can you reflect on that?
Yeah, definitely. From the Qatar tournament, after the Qatar tournament, it was like a confident boosting for the whole team. I believe like the team started to changing the way they're looking at the opponents, and they started to believe each other. Because since from 2019 we are taking small step upwards, but from the 2014 the team started to become more confident with each other, and they started to enjoy playing rugby as one team. And from there, I was like really excited to come back and join because I couldn't make it to this tournament for this Qatar. And I was like looking at the team, I feel like I am left out because I see the boys enjoying and like bonding each other and playing for the national team for the flag. So I'm definitely say the 2014 is that confident boosting for our whole team. Shout out to all the whole team.
And that was the first time that was the first year that you went to Japan, right?
Yes, that's my second season actually.
Right. And never, I think looking back at those times, of course, you appreciate the sacrifices, the people that has been giving a lot to rugby, especially to the team. Looking back, there's been some big figures to that we need to credit them. Can you point them out, Guru?
You mean the players?
Yeah, the players and the coaches as well.
Uh, for me, I will give it to the whole team because this is a team game, and I will give it big credit to the whole team. I believe everybody have they done their job to bring the team up for the achievement. So I I couldn't pick this guy have done this better, but for Coach Lee, he have done incredible job to put everybody together as one family. And from him, I will give credit to the whole team that have done that job done.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. For the next question, I would like to ask Mark. When of course, the first time you played for Malaysia was 2012, and looking back at the first time you've been playing for Malaysia, that was the seventh tournament, and you've only played in the ARC since, if I'm not mistaken, 2016 or 2017. Before that, have you ever looked to yourself, or have you ever known that you want to play for the Malaysian ARC team?
I initially actually was meant to join the Malaysian Sevens team in 2010 for the Commonwealth Games, but I got injured in that year. That was my first year in Japan, and um, when the opportunity arose to play for Malaysia, it was a new challenge for me, and I always thought it'd be great to go over and represent my country of birth. It would have been, it was all very, very new to me. I've never lived in Malaysia before, so for me to come over and experience a new bond and camaraderie with the players and the coaches was totally different scenario, and it was a great challenge for me. And really happy to have won a championship in 2017.
And you back then you guys were playing in Division One. Have you ever thought that you guys will be amongst the top 4 in Asia? Mark.
Sorry, I was waiting for Dugro. No, I mean, I've always believed that Malaysia has the potential. There was a very, very interesting fact that I learned about Malaysia, which is we actually have the 4th most registered players in all of Asia, which means that we potentially should be a powerhouse as well. So to have that many registered players and people that want to learn rugby and play rugby and actually love rugby, I think it's inevitable that we should be higher up in the world rankings.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think, and seeing that, with your experience playing the ARC, has that been helpful with your experience, implementing that, and also not only implementing that while playing, and also leading, these young players in the ARC?
100%. Usually in Japan, I am being mentored by, I'm an apprentice, so I'm being mentored by older people and more experienced players. So moving into Malaysia, it was a reversal in roles. So having to mentor younger players and also show more leadership, I think really grew my game and also helped me develop not only as a human, but as a player as well.
Duke, as moving forward, what has been your assessment for Malaysia's performance in the past 2 years in the ARC top division?
I didn't hear you. What is what?
What is your assessment of Malaysia's performance in the past 2 years in the ARC top division?
I think we are taking small steps forward every time when we come into this Asian Championship, and we always believe that we are believing in process and taking step forward and learning from every mistake that we have done and finding out our weakness and keep moving forward. And at the moment, we are in the right road and hoping for we can achieve more in the future.
How about you, Mark? What do you think of what's your assessment of Malaysia's performance over the past 2 years?
Oh, look, we are up against some pretty big countries that already have semi-professional and professional leagues, rugby leagues in their countries. So we have an amateur league at the moment in Malaysia, and for us to compete, I think we not only need to, like Dugro said, learn from our mistakes, but develop the game at a grassroots level so that we can compete at a high level. Because at the end of the day, it's the players that are 5 years younger that are going to hopefully be the next generation of top tier players.
Definitely, 100%. Talking about young players, talking about development and stuff, Lawrence is the youngest amongst you guys, and I would like to ask you, Law, at what age did you decide to aim for the national sport, and who were your heroes back then?
It was never really planned to wear a national jersey, but because when I was 16, I loved to play football, and then I fall in love with rugby when I study in UPM, Bintulu, and I joined rugby over there. And people said they encouraged me I should stick with rugby, and then I decided said okay, I'm gonna play rugby for my new sport. But I still never thinking that I'm gonna play for national at the moment. But when I play top league in Malaysia with UPM Sundang Angel, and all people like open my perspective and willing to play with national team that time. And for me, my hero is all my friend because they encourage me till I get this level. So yeah,
And just now we just saw your try. That was the first try of the tournament back in 2019, 2 years ago.
yeah,
What was going through your mind when you were scoring the try? And you guys were the first ones. You guys were the underdogs of the tournament, and you guys scored the first. You scored the first try. What was going through your mind that time, Law?
that time I was like, if you, I need to trust the process. That's all. So when we work as a team, and then the miracle will happen. That's the thing. If you play personally, individual, it won't happen. But when you play as a team, you will make it. And I saw my skipper captain come from behind and hug me. We was really happy that time. I enjoyed the moment.
Moving forward, Mark, COVID-19 has definitely hampered Malaysia's and all the other countries' efforts in growing the game. What sort of mindset everybody must have in return to play?
Well, I think it's important to just keep fit when you're in your downtime. It's very hard to motivate you, but if you do want to reach that next level, then you have to keep yourself fit no matter what the circumstances are. Whether you're stuck at home having to do home workouts or by yourself with hitting the roads, doing weight sessions by yourself, that all comes down to discipline. Um, but return to play for everyone, I think we should start off slow when it comes to training, and hopefully you've done a little bit of conditioning on your own. The mindset is just having to be disciplined, like anything in life. You know, because of COVID, a lot of businesses have deteriorated, and a lot of people working from home. So it's quite easy to relax when you're at home and not really do much else except chill out. So have the discipline, whether it be through your work or whether it be through training. That's the mindset that people should have when they return to play.
Oh, that's great. Of course, I think being not only a coach, I think you going into that level of life coach definitely can talk about it. Nugro, moving forward, how can emerging nations like Malaysia and our other peers in Asia make the Rugby World Cup dream come true? How do you think it's possible? I think you're a positive guy. You know this can happen, but with the right mindset, how do you think we can reach the Rugby World Cup dream?
I personally believe that it's all about the confidence and experience because we have to go through a lot of experience to get to the level of Rugby World Cup. And Japan have gone through the same process because they have started from underdogs and slowly get through all that, all the obstacles in front of them, and then now they are in quarterfinals. So we take them as one example how we can keep growing, even not only Malaysia, the whole Asian team, anybody who have a dream to wanted to go to the World Cup, they can take Japan rugby as one a good example. How did they get through all the obstacles when they were underdog, and how they all get together as one to support the national team to go further. That the whole country become as one to support the national team. As from the school, high school, they started to taking players from Tonga. They offer them scholarship so they can improve their rugby here, and they improve their local tournaments like top leagues and everything. And they try to pick the players, put it in their national team, and work on them. So make them as one family. So like any countries, the Asian country who trying to wanted to go get better in these tournaments, they can follow Japan, what Japan did.
And Mark, what do you think is the importance of having a strong mentality, ethics, and self-belief, especially in rugby?
Oh, that's that's everything about rugby. Your confidence levels. Because when you get to the top 10 nations in the world, there's very little that actually separates them physically. They can
Mm-hmm.
all bench press, they can all squat, they can all run. Their skill levels are pretty good. It's the top 6 inches that makes the difference when it comes to playing top level rugby. The confidence to go out there and believe in yourself, the confidence to go out there and trust your teammates, trust the process that your coaches have given you. That's what's very important when it comes to dealing with the top nations.
And you're a strong believer in fitness and whatnot. And how do you instill that discipline and self belief in players for them to be fit for the game?
Well, I think actually fitness is quite easy to implement within a player. Or my job as a personal trainer is actually to empower people, to give them the ability to do better in the future and to not need myself as a coach. So when you can basically tell people to be disciplined, start with small steps. Yeah, start by doing
Mhm.
something small, and then the next day you increase a little bit more, and eventually, hopefully, it'll become a lifestyle, whether it be through fitness or whatever it is that you want to improve. Small steps will lead you to a much better, bigger picture.
Talking about the game in 2019 and 2018, Malaysia against Hong Kong, Malaysia against Korea. Um, how was the rivalry between these teams? Is it like really strong of a rivalry between these teams, or do you guys like just want to go into the field and get the job done, Mark?
I think the rivalry is probably something quite new for a lot of the players. Like, us as a team, it was the first time that we'd played Hong Kong. So it was a new challenge for everyone. But leading into the game that we played in Hong Kong, I feel like we had, as a team, put a little bit too much pressure on ourselves to perform. And the reason we saw a good performance in Hong Kong was because we let go of those insecurities and we just thought, hey, we've got nothing to lose now. So why not just go out there and play some good rugby? We were very close to beating them, and it's it's a hard pill to swallow because we were very close, and that would have gone down in the history books. But we live to fight another day, and there's always next year and the year after, hopefully.
Yeah, and that was a really close call. I guess Dugro, you as a captain, what was going through your mind? You guys are really near to winning the
Yeah.
first game in ARC top division.
Yeah, I was so happy about the team, the way the boys performs and they believe each other, and you can see how happy they are after scoring a try because they know that they could have done more after the rugby. And even we guys like close call lost, we guys were celebrating like we won the game on that day because we all get to identify who we are and what the team capable of on that day. And yeah, like Mark says, just like they just let go all the pressure and they just started to play rugby at that time, at that moment. And when they come back to Malaysia, all the pressure is back because they get time and then they wanted to do what they did in Hong Kong. So the pressure is probably like the team lost because, like Mark said, most of the players are this is the first time they're playing against Hong Kong. They're playing a big tournament like this. Most of them are just started to play like a bigger tournament like this, so they not have no experience. And I believe that game will give them a very good experience for the next Asian Championship.
Yeah, talking about experience, talking about trying to grow the game, and of course, like you guys, Duke and Mark, you guys have played in the top league. Mark, you have been playing everywhere. You have been playing in New Zealand as well before that. And now, Lawrence, you have been playing in Australia, and you are one of the players that is currently playing overseas to improve on your game. So, how's the experience been so far for you?
Um, yeah, to be honest, I enjoy every second the experience very much when I'm playing in Australia, because
Hmm.
as you know, the feeling when you play in a foreign country, it's already interesting, right? So, like I shared many times before, it's about getting out from my comfort zone. So I love to do what I love. Like I got challenge myself doing this thing. I mean rugby, and then I met so many wonderful people. I learned many culture, and I learned many things here to improve myself. And yeah, I mean, it's good to be play above to gain more experience.
Before going
And
to Australia, you were a big boy. Now I think you have slimmed down a bit. What have you been doing in Australia?
yeah, that's the thing. The different. I mean, in the culture, training culture, uh, there is no soft training if you wanna play hard. So we train hard, we play hard. So I used to do running session, push myself. I need to beat the time because we're not against each other. We against the time. When you do running, when they say 10 seconds, you must done in 10 seconds. If not, you need to do all over and all over again. Yeah, I'm
So
bit.
I
Last time 126. Now I'm 105 kilo because we play in modern forward. We need a fast forward. So I used to train hard to get this form. I still learning, get more.
Wow, 21 kilos. That's not bad now. That's actually quite good. 21 kilos of losing weight, and because you are closer to Mark, I'm sure Mark will probably work out with you, and probably when you come back to Malaysia, you'll have six packs. You never know. Yeah, Mark is really good at pushing people to be fit. Trust me, Dugro and I know.
I'm
Yeah,
sure Lau was, he was. I've been keeping an eye on Lau when he was in Perth, and he was named as the one of the props for the whole tournament and the
mhm.
tournament team. And I think that's a really, really great achievement for him to be coming down and playing in a bigger competition in Sydney. In the Manly Marlins, a friend of mine is a coach there as well, and they're a very tough team. So um, I know that if he keeps on his good training habits, I'm sure he'll do very well down here.
There you go. There you go lah. You got to be fitter. So I'm quite excited to see probably a prop who can do a Bronco under, I don't know, under 5 minutes 30 seconds. We'll see. That'll be the day. That'll
Easy,
be the day.
easy.
That'll be the day. A Malaysian prop who can finish the Bronco 5 minutes under 5 minutes 30 seconds. That'll be the day.
One day, one day.
Anyway. Okay, we have some questions on Facebook. Thank you to our viewers who has been kind enough to ask all these questions on Facebook. Of course, we can't present all the questions to these guys, but we'll pick and choose. The first question, let us see the first question. This is from Mr. Akimoto Hinato. So Malaysia Rugby is struggling economically due to the pandemic, like many countries in Asia, of course. And it is good. It is good news that the selection can participate in the ARC. But is Malaysia still planning to create a future professional rugby league? That's actually not for Duke, Mark, or Lawrence to answer. That is probably for the administrators of Malaysia Rugby to answer. But I think okay, we can twist a bit the question. Dugro, do you think having a professional rugby league in Malaysia will help the team?
Oh, definitely, bro, because that will give the players to a reason to train, like believe themselves as one athlete. Because at the moment they want to be a rugby player, but they have job, they have family to look after, and so those type of time they can't make time, like they can't spend more time like how we guys doing. And the moment we guys like can train the whole day for rugby, can prepare the whole day for the rugby and everything. But in Malaysia, most of the players didn't get the privilege. They get to play rugby maybe twice in a week. So they're trying to make it like they really want to be one of the professional players. So if we can have one professional league, I think we will find more talent in Malaysia.
Definitely. And talking about Mark, probably you can also answer this question. Talking about one of the dreams that Malaysia has, which is to play in the Rugby World Cup. Is it possible without having a professional league? Is it possible?
Um, you see, you could probably take countries like Samoa, right, who don't have a professional league in their country. But that's because all their players that play in the Samoan rugby team or the Tongan rugby team, they're already exported out of the country and play in professional environments, right? So at the moment, you look at the Malaysian players that are playing abroad, Dugro and Lawrence and myself, three people can't make up a rugby team. So for us to get to the World Cup, there needs to be some massive developments in Malaysia locally, whether that comes through a professional sport, making it professional, or even semi-professional. You know, you got to start somewhere. Um, just like Dugro said, if you have to put food on the table, and if the players have other things to concentrate on, like work and families, then rugby becomes like a third, almost fourth priority. If they know that they will have some way to put food on the table and look after their family, then for sure they'll make rugby a number one priority, and that's how you're going to get more commitment and, I guess, better rugby players.
Definitely, for sure. Um, but there will be a tough task, definitely sending our players, exporting our players out. Saying that, probably we can take another Facebook question, which has to do with exporting our players out. Let us see the Facebook question. Um, this is from the same guy, Akimoto Hinato International. Sam, this is Sam Rentap, yeah. Sam Rentap aims to play in the future for the Japanese Pro League. Do you think that more and more Malaysian players will be able to play there in the future and thus allow the selection of hibiscus to pass a milestone at the international level? Probably, you know what? Let us get the captain, Duke. What do you think?
Uh, the player who mentioned is Samuel Rentap. He's one of the hardest workers in the team, and I believe he will do very well in Japan. And yes, exporting players to like out of Malaysia, that will be a great idea for the players will learn something new and have a new experience. So next time when we play against a giant like team, a big team, we will not um, like we call it like appreciate the opponent. So they won't appreciate the opponent way too much, like respecting them in the field. So they know in the field and outside the field like the differences. And just like Lawrence was saying, like we are not train easy, play hard kind of things. We're gonna train hard and work hard. So that kind of mentality will be in them. So it's all about attitude to like work hard. And once we have the start the attitude, like Lawrence say, we will be just improve. We will see the changes happen.
Saying that you've been mentioning Lawrence's name, I want to ask Lawrence, do you think Malaysian players can survive playing in the Australian club league? What do you think?
Um, yeah, personally, if I can say yes, but there is a but. If you're ready to sacrifice something, I mean, like family. It's advice from my skipper Dugro. When I asked him last time, he said you need to do this thing to this thing if you want to play professional. You need sacrifice. First is family because you're gonna live far from family. Of course, at the first time I feel like homesick, but I ask myself when I start, I should finish it. So I don't want to stop in the middle of my journey. So for me, the other player also can make their way. The things is you need to ask properly yourself if you really want to take the risk, like leave your family for a while, maybe not 1 year or 2 years, it's maybe more than 5 years. If you dare to take the risk to sacrifice the things, then yes, you are welcome, bro. I mean, everyone will show that everyone got talent. If you're not talent, you're a hardworking person, so you can show something here as well. If I can do it, it's possible as well for the other Malaysian to come and play in Australia.
Definitely. And Mark, um, one of the last questions. I want to know what are the changes would you like to see in rugby, for rugby in Asia?
In Asia or Malaysia?
In Asia as a whole.
In Asia as a whole?
Yeah.
I think more coverage on the international stage would be a great thing. More local tournaments. So you have the Asian Five Nations, right? But how about a bigger tournament where countries, like a Super Rugby tournament, I guess, but with countries involved, obviously that takes a lot of financial backing. But I would like to see that within Asia. We have our own kind of Super Rugby tournament. I also think because at the moment you might see a lot of female rugby being advertised, and that's great. That's great for rugby in general. It's great for female rugby. So for more Asian rugby to be promoted as well, I think that would help us develop our game and also be a great way for sponsors to come on board to help us develop our game.
Last question. This is for Dugro, and this is from Facebook, and it has a lot to do with what Mark was saying just now. So, what do you think, Dugro? What do you think? This is from Muizzuddin Yahya, our friend from Rugby Online. What do you think if MRU created a league with maybe a combination of Agung Cup and MRL, combination of club and state? What do you think of that?
Create a league. So it will be Agung Cup or MRL because we have
Agung Cup and MRL combined.
Combined, and how does that work?
So that yeah, that's the thing. So probably it will be like Super League plus Agung Cup.
It will be like a Super League, but everybody playing for their own state.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that will be bad. That will be good, but MRU have to make a rules that every player must play for their own state.
Right.
Not one state who have a little fund can buy all the good players and win the tournament.
Right.
So that means it will be a fair play. I think I shouldn't have talked about it, but I already said it for you.
I think that's a great idea, Dugro. I think that's a great idea. I also think that the tournament, whatever tournament the union decide to create, it needs to be longer. You need more consistency within it. That's how we develop. Players are not going to get better by playing 5 games in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely need more games. And saying that, like Dugro mentioned just now, if that happens, then Law won't be able to play for Terengganu. I'm just kidding, lah. I'm just kidding. Anyway, guys, thank you very much.
I'm mentioning him too.
I think I would have to play for. I think I'd have to play for Selangor.
Yeah, Mark cannot play
Yeah,
for
of course,
ATM
bro.
because Mark, you're not in the army, so you cannot play for
No more
ATM.
Sabah, no more ATM.
Man, guys, you know what? Thank you very much. You guys have been good. Thank you for joining us tonight, and to all the audience, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for listening to what do grow, what Mark and Lawrence have to say about the ARC Asia Rugby Championships, and of course, we are looking forward to this championship. The top four teams of Asia competing against each other, minus Japan. Japan is in a league of their own.
Next
They are
level.
at a different level, but of course, Hong Kong, Korea and Malaysia competing against each other. We can't wait for that tournament. We can't wait for the cross borders tournament to happen, and we hope that is going to happen this year. And of course, when that happens, these three guys have to come back to Malaysia. Do grow, Mark and Lawrence, and I can't wait to see you guys. At least we have a reason to see each other as you guys come back and prepare for the tournament. And anyway, thank you very much, guys, for joining us tonight on Asia Rugby Live. Hope to see you again next week. Till then, I'm Rod, and this is Asia Rugby Live. Goodbye.